No, it's not live.
I'm glad I caught that it wasn't live, but we didn't just go for like 10 minutes.
We are now live. So,
Oh.
apologies for that, everyone. Welcome to the S28 DSFL ISFL Awards show. And thank you all for joining us, and apologies for the slightly late start here. My name is Mojo Jojo, and I will be your streamer / button clicker, and I will turn it over to the great GMs and users that are here with me to take you through the award nominees and the winners tonight. Thanks for joining.
I am Katarn22. I am one of the co-GMs of the DSFL Ultimate winning London Royals. Glad you could join us tonight. Best of luck to all the nominees. I wish you could all win, but that unfortunately is not the reality of it. But it'll be a good night nonetheless.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am Crody Man. I am the co-GM for the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and I wore a blazer for this event tonight. So it's kind of a big deal, projecting some real, GM energy right now.
Hi, I'm Zan. I'm the GM of the New York Silverbacks, and I did not wear a blazer, unfortunately. I'm just wearing a t-shirt.
And I'm Stag. I'm here because not enough GMs wanted to be here. So if I annoy you throughout the course of the night, the only person you have to blame is your GM. Also with me, who might chime in occasionally, is Giant. Okay, we're gonna go with that. I don't know if they can hear you, but...
All right. And with that, I think we can move on to the start of the awards, right?
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. So, first award is the DSFL S28 Returner of the Year. The nominees, Salim Spence of the Portland Pythons, Kelvin Harris of the Norfolk Seawolves, Lonnie Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Anton Bruckner of the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Henny Tingspakubo, yep, I totally nailed that one, of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers.
Bless your soul.
Thank you. It's interesting in the DSFL, obviously the skill level is not as high, but Kelvin Harris of Norfolk was the only one with a touchdown. In fact, it was the only return touchdown by anyone in the DSFL this year.
Crazy.
Right, most kick return yards as well. I mean, he just had about, looks like 70 more returning yards. It's pretty good, but kick return average, we've got Salim Spence, 24 yards. That's pretty good. So who knows? This is anybody's race right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm always curious to see which way the voters swing. If the touchdown, kind of grabs their vote, or if they can lean more towards averages. But let's see who wins it. And it'll be Kelvin Harris of the Norfolk Seawolves. Congratulations, Kelvin Harris. Gonna say, I guess the touchdown did make the difference.
They often do.
All right. Moving on. DSFL S28 Punter of the Year. The nominees are Freddie Bly of the Norfolk Seawolves, Toy Robot of the Portland Pythons, Frost Sucks the Map of Tijuana Luchadors, Rainbow Dash of the London Royals, and Gluteus Maximus of the Minnesota Grey Ducks. If this could win on name alone, I think we all know who the winner would be, but unfortunately that doesn't come into effect here.
Yeah, I think this is Glute's last eligible season in the DSFL. He's obviously had a prolific career in Mini. I mean, he's kicked his way into the Mini Hall of Fame for sure. Also had like a 65-yard punt, which is pretty outrageous.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, next closest is Rainbow Dash was 62, but 65 in the DSFL is just crazy.
And Toy Robot 62 as well.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, Toy Robot might also He's got the most into 20s, which is always a very important stat for punters, just because, there are so many stats for punters to choose from. So he has like a slight advantage over the other two. So if they can accept the slightly less yards and longest, he might take this home. We'll see.
Well, I was gonna say, and the winner is Freddie Bly of the Norfolk Seawolves.
Congrats.
Congratulations, yeah.
Congratulations, yeah. 29. Jacques Leroy on this one. They had almost the highest field goal percentage, 30 extra points, and a 55-yard long. But again, I think the competition on this one is very close.
Yeah, it's really anybody's race right now. I think I tend to lean towards Leroy as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else took this one home.
And the winner is Cade York. Cade York of the Portland Pythons.
And I'm not surprised, because I just said that.
Yeah, well deserved. I could say Python did a fantastic season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the S28 DSFL Safety of the Year Award. Nominees are Cole Maxwell of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Romulus Roman of the Tijuana Luchadors, Kelvin Harris of the Minnesota Grey Ducks.
It's got to be Price, doesn't it? 5 and 15.
Yeah, I mean, he had a tremendous season for us this year, and he's been in mini for a long time, and so even just him getting the nom here is huge. I'm really happy for him, but like I said, tremendous season.
I think this goes back to what I said about return of the year. It's how much do the voters value the touchdowns. If you take touchdowns of the equation, I agree. I think Captain John Price has a good shot at it, but Harris had 1 and Maxwell had 2, so curious to see how that swings the vote.
I was going to say Maxwell's probably got a pretty good shot at this too. Just not only the 2 touchdowns, but he also has 3 sacks on the year too, which is kind of an all-around kind of performance from Dallas guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 3
fumble recoveries as well. I mean, you can count those as additional turnovers.
Yeah, sure.
Not turnovers forced, but still.
Yeah. Well, and the winner is Captain John Price.
Hey,
Good
hell
call.
yeah.
I was going to say, very well deserved.
Proud of you, Snowy.
Especially for a safety, 5 interceptions in the DSFL is a lot. All right. Moving on, the S28 DSFL Cornerback of the Year nominees are Sir Peter Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Rayan Schwarzer, I apologize if I said that wrong, of the Tijuana Luchadors, Anton Bruckner of the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Lib Gallagher of the Portland Pythons, and CJ Sunjack of the London Royals.
I mean, Sir Peter Jackson, the 7 INTs, that's incredible. Plus, you add on 4 forced fumbles and a tutty. Just tremendous season.
Yeah.
I agree.
Go ahead, Zen.
I was just going to say, I completely agree with that. I think his teammate, Schwarzer, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, also had a pretty nutty season with the 31 PDs and plus 5 interceptions themselves. But I think Peter Jackson might just edge this just because, voters love their interceptions.
Yep.
That catch rate, though, dude, 49% for Schwarzer.
Yeah, that's
If that
very
was-
impressive.
If that was on the ballot, that's such an outlier compared to everyone else. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else is below 60. Sunjack and Bruckner have 60%, but yeah, that's really
49% is like best DSFL corner or ISFL corner. Like that's ridiculous.
All right, and the winner is
Better say.
Sir Peter Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors. Yeah, again, it's been said, but 7 interceptions is just nuts for the DSFL. Also, hats off to Tijuana for having 2 players on here. That's always impressive.
Incredible.
All right, the S28 DSFL Linebacker of the Year nominees are Xavier Walls of the Portland Pythons, Tremendous Johnson of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Benjamin Ankers of the Norfolk Seawolves, DeAndre Chugs of the Norfolk Seawolves, and Dexter Hall of the Kansas City Coyotes.
Get it out of the way. 12 sacks for Walls.
Yeah.
4 interceptions, 16 PDs. Like he doubled everyone else in basically every category.
Not to mention 7 forced fumbles. I mean, that's a pretty insane stat line for Walls.
That's gonna be like a new sim record.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say the fact that only one of these people are nominated for MVP, too, kind of gives away who's probably winning this award.
Right. I will be shocked if this doesn't go to Xavier Walls. No offense to the other nominees. You all had very good seasons, but Xavier Walls just was on a different level.
Yeah, and shout out to Tremendous Johnson. I mean, 133 tackles. I think he was the tackle leader. I love to see it. Very active on defense. So just shout out for Johnson.
Zane, stop looking ahead though, cheater.
All right, and the DSFL S28 Linebacker of the Year winner is Xavier Walls. Extremely well deserved.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an Anthony Barr render? I think it is. Don't tell Kotasa. All right, the DSFL S28 Defensive Tackle of the Year award nominees are Primo Berto of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Daniel O'Leary of the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Carter Fox of the Portland Pythons.
Love my boy Berto, but 6 forced fumbles for Fox. What the hell, man?
It'd be nice to see Berto to kind of snag an award here, just because I feel like he's always on the list for D Tackle of the Year, but he's always come up like second almost every single time. But the forced fumbles might be a little too much for him to overcome, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say Carter Fox with the 6 forced fumbles is just, especially for a D tackle. For any position, that's crazy, but for a D tackle especially.
I agree. Yeah, and O'Leary had a really good season for us. It is hard to, compare stat lines when these players are performing so well. But we were super pleased with him. 5 sacks, 60 tackles. He had a great season as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and the winner is Carter Fox, defensive tackle for the Portland Pythons. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Solid season all around. All right, the DSFL S28 Defensive End of the Year nominees are Glenn Smart of the London Royals, Giles Merritt of the Tijuana Luchadors, and Mongo of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers. This one was pretty close, I feel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Glenn Smart might pull ahead a little bit just because he ended up finishing with the most sacks. Plus, he's got a couple more
double
small-
digits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this is close at all. Smart is tied for the lead in tackles, leads in TFLs, leads in forced fumbles, is tied for the lead in fumble recoveries, and leads in sacks.
Yeah, it's
So it's
his
like
award.
every category. This might be unanimous on the ballots at the end. Like,
Let's see if it's his to lose. I was gonna say the winner is Glenn Smart of the London Royals. Great job, Pip. Make me proud. Yeah, I think that he does lead in pretty much all categories for his position, and just had a solid season all around.
Yeah, really impressive.
Okay, the DSFL S28 award, nominees for Offensive Lineman of the Year are Cheese Farley for the Kansas City Coyotes, Keen Lover for the London Royals, Rudy Gray for the Norfolk Seawolves, or Mateers Ricochet for the Tijuana Luchadors.
I mean, Lover's got the most pancakes. I mean, I think none of them have allowed a sack except Rudy Gray has allowed one sack. So just looking at pancake numbers, I would be surprised if Keen Lover didn't pull away with this. But great seasons from these guys.
Lover's got
Did Lover get that the record or whatever? The pancake record? So
I was about to say,
Yeah.
he's got 24 short stacks of pancakes. Wins it.
I would be very surprised if this didn't go to Keen Lover. They broke the DSFL single season pancake record by 2, I believe, previously held by Clay Stallworth of S25. All right, and the winner is Keen Lover of the London Royals. Woo!
Ooh.
Fair rubs all around. I was gonna say, you always love to see a fantastic offensive line play, especially at the DSFL level. All right, moving on. The DSFL S28 Tight End of the Year nominees are Chevy Bronco of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Gronku Muerto of the Tijuana Luchadors, Zach Denozo of the Norfolk Seawolves, Joey Marston of the Dallas Bird Dogs, and Buffalo Hunter of the London Royals. I feel like this past draft class was particularly deep at tight end, which is not typical, but I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Deepest tight end class ever.
Agreed. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, you can see that by the nominees. You know, I think 4 of these 5 are rookies. I know Bronco, Muerto, Hunter, and
Marston.
Marston is.
Yeah, I think Marston. So impressive there.
I think all of them. Yeah.
Gotta be Marston or Bronco though, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's pretty close between the two. You know,
How much do 2 touchdowns matter?
Yeah, for 2 touchdowns versus 60 yards, I think.
60-ish yards, yeah, slightly
60-ish.
better average, because of that. Yeah,
It's tight.
it's tight, and they have the same amount of pancakes as well.
It's like
None of these
about
guys
as
allowed a
close as you
sack.
Yeah, that's another thing to consider. No sacks allowed. We'll see. As I say, let's see what the voters decided. Oh, we have 2 winners.
Whoa.
Chevy
Whoa.
Bronco and Joey Marston.
get. Feels like cheating.
Yeah.
Congratulations to both of you. I was gonna say that's I guess
Yeah, that's pretty rare. Yeah.
that is very rare. I guess the voters were split, understandably. So congratulations to both of you. You are both the DSFL S28 Tight End of the Year. Moving on, the DSFL S28 Wide Receiver of the Year nominees are Bailey Cowabunga of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Joe Bay of the Minnesota Grey Ducks, 11 Kendrick Watts of the Kansas City Coyotes, and Salim Spence of the Portland Pythons.
Firstly, I gotta just say I think it's right here. It should be Bailey Cowabunga, my boy Joe. Just based on yards alone, he's got I think Yeah, 300. Sorry, I have to double check. He has like 300 yards in the next guy. Obviously, Joe Bay had a crazy season touchdown wise with 14, so I think it's going to be a pretty close race, but I think Cowabunga just had the better, like, straight up receiving season.
Yeah, well, it's like how much do you value those 5 tutties over yardage and average? But either way, I mean, all these guys had tremendous seasons. I mean, Joe Bay, I'm really glad to see that he got nommed this season. I know he was on the buried on the depth chart a bit the last couple seasons, and he really popped off this year. So, you know, we're really excited for the season that he had. But all of these guys did a tremendous job.
I love touchdowns as much as the next guy, but Chunt set the record for DSFL receiving yards last year with 1,405 and set it by like 100. And Joe, or Bailey Calabunga, just blew by it by 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy. Regardless of the touchdowns, that's a DSFL record by like 200 plus yard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, really any season over 1,000 yards receiving in the DSFL is pretty solid. To get 60% more than that is just nuts.
Just beat the record got beat by 100 yards last year, and then he just beat the new record by 200.
Yep.
Like, that's like a hold my beer moment.
Well, let's see if the voters agree. And they do. It is Bailey Cowabunga. What a render. Bailey
Yeah, it's the
Cowabunga.
best render.
Congratulations.
Oh
man.
my god.
Hell of a season, hell of a render. Moving on, the DSFL S28 running back of the year nominees are Remus Roman of the Portland Pythons, Lonnie Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Manhattan Project of the London Royals, Rejoigne Lord Sombre, hopefully I said that right, of the Kansas City Coyotes, and John Huntsman of the Minnesota Grey Ducks.
I mean, you just gotta be in awe of Lonnie Jackson's yardage here, I think. I mean, 1,600 yards is outrageous. Not even sure if that's a record or not, but that's really impressive. Yeah.
I think
I think it's not even, like, I think it's Lonnie here, and it's not even that close here. He just had such a nutty season all around. He was basically Tijuana's whole offense, and he took them to Ultimate Mini. They didn't win, but
So crazy year, but just to, I guess, be the old guy in the room here, say, since I haven't been here long, 1,600 yards is not the DSFL record. The DSFL record's like 2,500.
Oh my god.
Was that
Different-
Boyja?
Different eras, but yeah, it was Boyja.
Yeah.
But like,
Ooh.
yeah,
like,
that was time consumers nutty. Like,
when it comes to running back records in the DSFL, just don't assume it's a record.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do think Lonnie will win, but I do think some consideration should be given to Project. Again, maybe I'm a little biased, but you know, I think Project was the more efficient player if you take into receiving stats. But we'll see. Let's see what the voters said. And it is Lonnie Jackson of the Luchadors.
Yep, well deserved.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,600, almost 1,700 yards actually is just, deserving of an award.
Ridiculous year for the modern era of running backs in the DSFL.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
All right. The DSFL S28 Quarterback of the Year nominees are LeBron James III of the Portland Pythons, Joliet Christ Jr. of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Red Arrow Jr. of the London Royals, and Dexter Zalerin of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers.
Give the award to Christ, and let's keep this chugging. 700 more yards than everybody else. Get out of here.
Yeah, but also shout out though to LeBron for having like far and away the highest QBR. I mean, he definitely didn't attempt as many passes, which is definitely maybe playing into his really high QBR, but that's just a really efficient season. And only 7 interceptions, I think, 22 touchdowns. Really efficient.
LeBron's got to be like the best DSFL or a top 3 DSFL quarterback of all time. He's the best since I've been here, at least. This is what his
Yeah.
third or fourth year being
Yeah,
here.
he's always
two
up here.
MVPs, like
I think
Couple- death taxes and LeBron being on this.
Like, this
I
was
think-
probably LeBron's worst season in the time I've been here, and he's still a quarterback of the year, like, nominee. That's how good he's been here.
Yeah, and hats off to Portland. You know, I don't know if people realize, but you know, league greats like JQ and Franklin Armstrong, DSFL team, Portland. So they're just a QB factory in there. We'll see who won. And it is Joliet Christ Jr. of the Dallas Bird Dogs. Very well deserved 4,000 yard season. Just nuts. All right. The DSFL S28 Offensive Rookie of the Year nominees are Kane Lover of the London Royals, Janice Lux of the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Chevy Bronco of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Quinton Crash of the Kansas City Coyotes, and Rejourne Lord Sombre of the Kansas City Coyotes.
I mean, they all had impressive seasons as rookies, to be sure. I mean, Keen Lover being a record setter at his position, that's huge. You know, Janice, we were super happy with Janice. You know, Luxton's is great user. I don't always get to see him because he's from Latvia, so we're on different time zones, but I'm really happy for the season that he had. I mean, all of these guys.
I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I would love to see Kane Lover win this. Not just because they're a Royal, but because their offensive line. That'd be fantastic.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, offensive linemen are players too.
All right, and we'll see what the voters said. Oh my goodness.
Hey!
That's
Someone-
incredible. Kane
Someone
Lover.
tag Caltroit.
Woo!
This is his dream.
Oh, big man gets the prize.
This is honestly incredible. Kane Lover of the London Royals for Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's your winner, folks. Very, very well deserved. Love it. All right. Switching sides of the ball, we're moving on to the DSFL S28 Defensive Rookie of the Year. First on the list, Rianne Schwarzer of the Tijuana Luchadors, Tremendous Johnson of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Sir Peter Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Marcus Jones of the Tijuana Luchadors, and Lib Gallagher of the Portland Pythons. I'm sure we're all thinking it, but Tijuana having 3 people on this ballot is just that's
Nutty.
very impressive.
Yeah.
That's-
And I like Sir Peter Jackson here again because he's a turnover machine. You know, it's hard to argue with turning the ball over when you're a defender, and as a rookie to put up the numbers that he did, I mean, I think that's incredibly impressive. When you add his 4 forced fumbles to his 7 interceptions, I mean, he's double-digit turnovers plus a tutty. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's, you know, I play defense, so maybe I'm biased, but I just love seeing nice defensive stat lines like that.
Agreed, and especially the fact that Sir Peter Jackson ended up winning, already winning cornerback of the year. I think the voters already have shown that they think he had a nutty season, and I think he's going to win this award here too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and let's see what the voters said. Sir Peter Jackson again for Defensive Rookie of the Year this time.
The return of the king.
Yeah, again, well deserved. Awesome season. All right, moving on to Offensive Performance of the Year nominees. We have Joliet Christ Jr. in Week 7 of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Manhattan Project Week 2 of the London Royals, Bailey Cowabunga Week 13 of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Fitted Cuddles Week 4 of the Kansas City Coyotes, and Is He Really Invisible Week 12 of the Tijuana Luchadors.
I personally, I really like the stat line from the Tijuana quarterback. Is he really invisible? Just kind of nutty. Like, yeah, he had an okay passing game, but the fact that he has like 3 rush touchdowns in a game and 170 yards, it's pretty like that's like kind of nutty.
It's like
You don't
Lamar
see that
Jackson
in-
esque
Yeah, I was gonna
numbers.
say you don't see
Right.
that in the ISFL, so it's kind of cool to see it here in the DSFL.
That's
I
the
think it's
s-
almost more impressive that he only attempted to throw the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
That's the second best rushing game I've seen for a quarterback in the DSFL. Chris Ramos had one a couple years ago where he went for like 250 and 4 touchdowns. But like that's ridiculous. That wins it just because he only threw the ball 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's other good performances on here. You know, Cuddles had over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Project had 3 total touchdowns and about 150 total yards. But well, let's see what the voters said. Oh, and it is Fitted
Oh.
Cuddles.
I respect that.
of the Kansas
217
City
yards is
Coyotes.
crazy.
I was just saying,
Mhm.
any performance over 200 yards, especially at the DSFL level, is worthy of recognition. So, congratulations to Fitted
Can we,
Cuddles.
can we pause for a second? Is that a mattress?
That's an amazing render.
Yes, it's a mattress.
I have a lot of questions.
Imagine that mattress coming at you. Like
Imagine that mattress tumbling end over end for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I changed my mind. He 100% deserves that. Yeah, just imagining a mattress rolling that way.
Oh man. Moving on. The DSFL S28 Defensive Performance of the Year nominees. Oh man. Ween Kioma, I nailed it. Week 1 of the Norfolk Seawolves. Henny Ting Impossible, I don't know, week 6
Bless
of
your
the
heart.
Bondi. Thank you. Bondi Beach Buccaneers. Xavier Walls week 5 of the Portland Pythons, or Xavier Walls week 6 of the Portland Pythons?
Well, he's got a 50-50 shot of winning this.
I
Yeah,
think-
first of all, shout out Xavier Wells for just having 2 back-to-back weeks of just being 2 performances that were considered the best in the season. Good for him.
Yeah. I realistically, I think the only way Walls could win this is that the voters split on the week 5 and week 6 performance, and somebody else swoops in from behind and takes it. But we will see.
Yeah, I mean, his week 5 stat line is pretty impressive. I mean, 2 forced fumbles, 3 forced fumbles, 3 sacks. That's pretty good. I don't know. But he has the best chances of winning out of anybody up here because there's just more of him.
Statistics.
And it is Xavier Walls' week 6 performance. Apologies to Xavier Walls' week 5 performance.
I'm sure he's really disappointed.
Again,
You won and you've lost.
yeah. I'm trying to find the stat line here. I'm sure it was crazy.
Oh, yeah, the week 6 performance was, he had 6 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, 2 interceptions, and one of them he took home for a touchdown.
Yeah. So a little bit of everything there. Understandable. Nonetheless, very well deserved. Congratulations, Xavier Walls.
Congrats.
All right. Now moving on to the DSFL S28 General Managers of the Year nominees. Qatar 22, that's me, and Slate of the London Royals. Guitar Master 116 and Kotasa of the Tijuana Luchadors. Nicholas the Great and Uber BJ of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers. Rush Drives the Bus and Crody Man of the Minnesota Grey Ducks. Or Ziegel 1 and Hordle of the Portland Pythons.
Crody and Qatar and Thunderdome right now.
Yeah. There can only be one.
I
I
was
know.
gonna say, there's a bunch of great users, and also Katarn is up here.
I'm not going to say anything bad about Qatar. He's standing right here.
Crody Man likes pizza and pizza rolls, so that's already good in my book. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, there like Zane said, I think there are lots of fantastic users on here. You know, I talk to a lot of these guys, daily. Awesome users. but I think it could really go to a bunch of people. So let's see what the voters said. And it is me and Blade.
Congratulations,
Royals.
buddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys. It means a lot.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll speak a little on this. The London Royals had, statistically, at least win record wise, their worst season last year. So to be able to turn it around and go 11-3 and win the Ultimate, that really is something special.
Yeah, it was really well deserved in general. Just you developed a really great set of users, and you ended up winning the whole thing. So I felt like this was probably your award to lose this year.
Thanks,
I know
guys.
you wouldn't have admitted that yourself because you would have looked like a jerk. But
Yeah, you cultivated a super fun locker room, and people are happy to be a part of your team there, man. Great job.
Thank you very much. Slade, I know you're listening. Shout out to you, buddy. All right. And moving on to the DSFL S28 Offensive Player of the Year nominees. We have Salim Spence of the Portland Pythons, Chevy Bronco of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Bailey Cowabunga of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Lonnie Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, and Joliet Christ Jr. of the Dallas Bird Dogs.
I think that this is going to be a tough one between probably Lonnie and one of the two Dallas players.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think there's a good chance that if one of the Dallas players wins, Lonnie might have won MVP.
Yeah, that's exactly my thought, is that if we don't see Lonnie win this award, then there's a pretty good chance that he's getting MVP, because that was an incredible season.
Yeah, I mean, I went with Dane on this one. I think for me personally, it's between Lonnie and Christ Jr. simply just because of the crazy offensive numbers they put up. Yardage, touchdowns. I'm curious to see which way this went. And it is Joliet Christ Jr. for Offensive Player of the Year. Again,
Great way to end his Dallas career here.
yeah. Well deserved. Over 4,100 yards passing, 29 touchdowns, 30 if you count the one on the ground. Yeah, just incredible. Moving on to Defensive Player of the Year for the DSFL, we have Sir Peter Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Dexter Hall of the Kansas City Coyotes, Glenn Smart of the London Royals, Xavier Walls of the Portland Pythons, and Tremendous Johnson of the Bondi Beach Buccaneers.
Nothing to say about this award besides the fact that I just realized what Tremendous Johnson's name is an allusion to. That's all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I think right here it's probably, if I were to put money, it would either be Xavier Walls or Sir Peter Jackson. I almost messed up that name, but I think it should be Walls here. But we'll see how the voters are feeling, because Jackson had a pretty nutty season all around.
I definitely don't think the gap is as big as people expect it to be between Jackson and Walls. That being said, I would be surprised if this didn't go to Walls. And it does. Like I say, congratulations, Xavier Walls, your Defensive Player of the Year for the DSFL.
Extremely well deserved.
All right, moving on. I think this is our final DSFL award. Or excuse me, no, it's not. Ignore me. DSFL S28 Most Dedicated Member nominees. Suggs of the Portland Pythons and Lucid Dreams 702 of the London Royals.
Yeah, two really great new users all around. They've been Suggs has been more on the written media side from what I've seen, and then Lucid has this whole podcast series going on too. So
the podcast is super impressive. I mean, it's a ton of work to put together a podcast consistently the way he's been doing, and it's a tremendous gift to the league to be able to have something to listen to that showcases a lot of the different users around the league. So I'm a big fan of his show.
Yeah, I think they're both very deserving. You know, Lucid's podcasts are awesome. Some of the media Suggs puts out is also very interesting to read. But we'll see. We'll see how the voters decided. And it goes to Suggs, most dedicated member
Congratulations.
for S28. Congratulations, sir. Well deserved. S28, most valuable player in the DSFL. Your nominees are Bailey Cowabunga of the Dallas Bird Dogs, Sir Peter Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, Xavier Walls of the Portland Pythons, Lonnie Jackson of the Tijuana Luchadors, or Joliet Christ Jr. of the Dallas Bird Dogs.
I mean, as a defensive player, I can't tell you how it warms the cockles of my heart to see two defenders up here for MVP. Just makes me so happy to see. I'm still sort of personally leaning towards Lonnie Jackson, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either Walls or Joylet walk away with this award either.
Yeah, I'm with you, Crody, man, on having two defenders on here. That is impressive, honestly. You know, I think it's also impressive just that there's two representatives from two different teams. You know, you have Cowabunga and Christ from Dallas, and Jackson and Jackson from Tijuana. But I mean, don't count out Xavier Walls. You know, he had one hell of a season at linebacker. So I really didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I think this could go to almost any one of them.
Unrelated, my new headcanon is the two Tijuana guys are related.
They're brothers, you know.
Yeah, they're brothers.
And Lonnie Jackson will take it. MVP of the DSFL. Very well deserved. Again, we've said it, but he had just a nutty season. You know, 1,600 yards, more than 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns. Kick return averages in there, receiving touchdown. You know, the Tijuana offense really ran through him. You know, to quote a YouTube video, he put the team on his back.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. All right. That is it for the DSFL awards, and we are moving on to the ISFL awards.
Katarn, before
Starting
you
off.
start, I just
Yes.
want to acknowledge the team that put together the graphics for this great show. So all of the DSFL graphics that you saw were put together by Noanic. So thank you so much for all of those wonderful renders, including the Kansas City Coyotes mattress.
Shout out Fitted Cuddles.
And to Moosey for doing all of the ISFL renders that you're going to be seeing coming up. So thank you very much to our events graphics team. You guys have done a fantastic job. And now let's hear the ISFL awards.
Awesome. Yes, thank you very much to all the graphic designers. You know, these streams really aren't possible without you guys.
Moosey also made lemur hype, which is the best emoji. But let's carry on.
Moving on to the ISFL awards, we'll start off with the S28 Returner of the Year nominees. We have Matt Krause of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Daniel Foster of the Yellowknife Wraiths, Flash Panda of the Philadelphia Liberty, Raftalia Chan of the Sarasota Sailfish, and National Simulation Football League of the Colorado Yeti. I was gonna say, I think. Sorry, I'm pulling up the stats here.
Oh. Yeah.
They all had touchdowns except for National Simulation Football League.
Yeah, but NSFL was probably one of the more efficient ones, I believe. Their averages for kick return were pretty high. I think it was 31.
31. Yeah, 31.
But I think the touchdowns might take him out of this competition despite being one of the more efficient returners in the league this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We can see how the voters voted. It is Flash Panda.
Flash Panda. All right.
Philadelphia Liberty.
Look
I
at
love
him
that
having
right
a
there.
great time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's somewhere like in between what you were saying with NSFL, where I mean Panda was efficient, but also added a tutty on top of it. So well deserved.
Yeah. Very, very well deserved.
An
Well,
incredible
render
render.
too.
Incredible render. Oh my god.
I know. I wish we had an award for best render.
Make it user award.
There you go.
No, it
Moving
will.
on to the ISFL S28 Punter of the Year nominees. We have Dougie Smalls of the New York Silverbacks, Balago Kokot of the Yellowknife Wraiths, Matthew McDermott of the San Jose Sabercats, Silver Banana of the Colorado Yeti, and Leo Bloomfield of the Austin Copperheads.
Firstly, oh, sorry. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to remark on how incredible it is to have a 76 yard long punt. That was Kokot, Yellowknife Wraiths. That's a huge punt. Certainly the largest by a pretty wide margin, I think by 5 yards.
Yeah, you're right. That is impressive. Dougie Smalls is the most inside the 20 with 39,
That's what I was
67
gonna
yard long. Again, there's one of those awards that depends what the voters look at. You know, they look at long, do they look at inside the 20, do they look at averages? You know, McDermott had the highest average of 49, shade under 50. That's very impressive. So we'll see. And it goes to Dougie Smalls, your punter of the year for the ISFL.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a big punter.
Yeah, huge.
It's,
Maybe him.
How
and,
many forced
Gluteus-
fumbles did he get?
Yeah, him and Gluteus Maximus.
he was,
Maybe
he
can
also,
have a,
if people remember, he was the quarterback. I mean, he was the punter that who spiked the ball for San Jose.
Yeah, he's the only punter or kicker to throw a pass this year.
for the wrong team.
He knows what he's
Even
doing.
better.
Moving on to the S28 ISFL Kicker of the Year. We have Danny King of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Jacob Small of the Sarasota Sailfish, Matthew McDermott of the San Jose Sabercats, Dougie Smalls of the New York Silverbacks, or Jake Fenkick of the Philadelphia Liberty.
I think. Well, again, I think Dougie has another good shot at winning this award too. But I think Dan King might be able to just edge it because he went, I think, 8 for 8 on his 50-yard kicks, which is pretty nutty.
That's correct. Yeah.
So the fact that he was perfect from that distance is pretty insane. So we'll see how the voters vote though.
And it is Danny King of
Danny
the
King.
Berlin Fire Salamanders.
Joe Fish's favorite player.
Yeah. former London Royal, shout out there. But yes, this was very well deserved. Only missed one extra point. 8 for 8, as Zane said, on the 50-yard kicks, 52-yard long. That's just a solid season all around. It definitely contributed to Berlin's success this year.
I'm just going to say I'm glad that nobody mentioned the 63-yard field goal by Matthew McDermott because that made me, as a Chicago player, incredibly sad.
I was about to bring it up, but then I stopped myself.
It's okay. We can move on.
Yeah. Moving on to the ISFL S28 Safety of the Year nominees. We have Hamish McAndrew of the Chicago Butchers, Cuckoo Clemente of the Sarasota Sailfish, Bob Roberts of the New York Silverbacks, Damian Blackfire of the Chicago Butchers, and Eugene Smoothie of the Orange County Otters.
I think McAndrew played for Austin.
I think that is right now that I look at it.
Yeah, he played for Austin.
Yeah, he was
That's
on
okay.
Chicago last year, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to step away since, I think Zane should have something to say about this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, obviously my player, Bob Roberts, had a pretty nutty season. But I'm going to just say, to the other ones. Like Eugene Smoothie had 7 sacks in the year, which is pretty crazy for, a safety, just being able to be used just outside of coverage as well. And I think Cuco Clemente had a very low catch rate or whatever, which is really good to see from a defensive player, just knowing that they're defending really well. So
Yeah, and shout out to Blackfire and his 3 forced fumbles. That's my boy Thunder Titan, High Thunder.
And let's see. Hey, Bob Roberts, our very own Sam.
Hey.
This is truly the worst narrative.
yeah, this is Sam is broken.
Congratulations, sir. Moving on to cornerback of the year, we have Colt Mendoza of the New York Silverbacks, Djibouti McJimerson of the Yellowknife Wraiths, Rich Triplett of the Arizona Outlaws, and Harrison Andrews of the Sarasota Sailfish.
Could I just opt myself out of this? Because Mendoza did not have a good year.
I mean, it was good enough to be on the ballot.
Yeah, it was a good year, but it wasn't. The other 3 just had especially Rich Triplett and Harrison Andrews both had like pretty insane seasons. Like I think Triplett broke the PD record, right? Andrews had the most interceptions by like a decent amount.
Yeah, that catch allow rate for Triplett, 57.7 is very impressive in the ISFL.
Yeah, I think, again, I've said it before, but it definitely comes down to what voters value. Catch percentage, PDs, touchdowns. I think it could be neck and neck between Andrews and Triplett. Let's see who won. And it is Harrison Andrews, your S28 ISFL cornerback of the year. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say the word. His season was insane. 9 picks, 3 defensive touchdowns. It just that's for a cornerback, that's just phenomenal. Hats off to you, ABH.
Yes, sir.
Moving on, ISFL S28 linebacker of the year nominees. We have Darren DeVille of the Sarasota Sailfish, Jack Banks of the New York Silverbacks, Dex Kennedy of the Austin Copperheads, Heinrich Kakpu of the Honolulu Hahalua, and Haha Mango Panda of the Sarasota Sailfish.
I mean, Banks leads with an amount of sacks, with 20 sacks, and he's also leading in tackles, which is really impressive. But again, you can't overlook Dex Kennedy with those 4 tutties and a safety. I mean, points on the board are obviously going to be a huge metric on deciding who wins the award.
I don't know what the record for defensive touchdowns in the season is, but 4 has to be up there.
I was gonna say, like, obviously, Jack Banks is my boy. He had a pretty nutty season, but 4 defensive touchdowns is just almost impossible to like break up, which really sucks.
Yeah, and a safety. That's 30 points.
Safety, yeah, 30 points from a defensive player is pretty nutty.
Well, 26 points technically, but
True.
Counting.
Math, yeah.
I know I'm supposed to be on this stream to just press the button, but I have to just give a shout out to both of the other linebackers on the Sarasota Sailfish with me, Haha Mango Panda and Dara DeVille. They both broke the forced fumble recovery record this year, and it has just been a pleasure playing alongside them, even if they don't win the award. Congrats on the nomination.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like we said before, it's always awesome to see 2 guys on the same team be nominated. And let's see who won. And the award goes to Dex Kennedy from the Austin Copperheads. Again, extremely well deserved. A safety, 4 touchdowns, 6 forced fumbles, double-digit sacks. He had a bit of everything. All right, moving on. ISFL Defensive Tackle of the Year nominees are Damon Brooks of the Chicago Butchers, Chuck Roth of the Arizona Outlaws, Big Ed of the Honolulu Hahalua, Magnus Rikia of the Colorado Yeti, or Patrick Money of the Yellowknife Wraiths.
Yeah, I think this year, probably Damon Brooks takes it home just because he's got the pure stock numbers, plus the TFLs.
And a safety.
And a safety. Chuck Roth had a really good season and had the 2 forced fumbles, and that he recovered too. So maybe voters like that. So he's got a shot too. Ed's got the most tackle loss, but I don't think he's going to win this year. But I just wanted to say his name because his new name is Big Eddie for every Yeti. And I just know he's very upset that I said it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Damon Brooks was going to be my choice, and he wins it. Damon Brooks, your S28 DT of the ISFL.
Congratulations, buddy.
Moving on, the ISFL S28 Defensive End of the Year nominees are Marlon Brando of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Brick Van Stando of the New York Silverbacks, Bean Beanman of the Orange County Otters, Tex Rex of the Philadelphia Liberty, or Mario Von Pebbles of the Berlin Fire Salamanders.
Yeah, so right away, I think, obviously, Brick Van Sanzo has the most sacks, 14, with double digits, which is pretty insane. Obviously, Tex Rex is also probably a big contender just because he's got the forced fumbles, the safety, and the touchdown too, which is pretty crazy for a defensive end. So I think those two are probably the top two, in my point of view at least.
Yeah, I think Brando's in the equation as well with 3 forced fumbles, 2 safeties, 9 sacks. Pretty good stat line as well. Really, I could see it going to either 3 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brando had an awesome season. Also, shout out to Bean Beanman for being on the ballot. Beanman tore it up at the DSFL level, and clearly he's continuing to do it at the ISFL, so good for him. And the winner is Tex Rex of the Philadelphia Liberty. Congratulations to you, sir. I think that defensive touchdown did it.
The only tutty from the DNs on the ballot. Could be all the difference maker.
Yep, exactly. All right, moving on to the ISFL S28 Offensive Lineman of the Year. We have Adam Malott of the New Orleans second line, Byron Dawes of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Greedy Sly of the Colorado Yeti, or Calvin Galladay of the Arizona Outlaws.
Well, with O-linemen, there's not too much to judge, but the fact that Calvin Galladay had 28 pancakes, which is only 1 less than Brian Dawes, but Dawes allowed 2 sacks and Galladay allowed 0, so I think it's Calvin's to win this year.
I would agree with that. I don't think they show penalty information on the ballots, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but sometimes that comes into effect. But, not seeing that, I would agree with you, Zan. I think Calvin Galladay is going to win this one.
Whoa, you're getting too fancy. We don't care about penalty numbers. We care about short stack numbers. And this winner, Calvin Galladay, has 42.6 short stacks.
Wow. That is a busy IHOP kitchen.
Yeah, I'll make the bet I made back in season 24. If somebody can go to IHOP tonight and prove to me that by midnight Eastern time they finish 42.6 short stacks, I'll surrender my entire ISFL bank account.
I will leave that up to somebody else. My stomach would hate me. Congratulations.
I just need the maple syrup and I can do it. I just need the maple.
Get working, buddy.
ISFL S28 Tight End of the Year nominees are James Angler of the Sarasota Sailfish, Keith Evans of the Orange County Otters, The Rex of the Yellowknife Wraiths, Clark Boyd of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, or James Lewandowski of the San Jose SaberCats? I mean, I think Angler had arguably the best season. You know, I think it's close between him and Lewandowski. Angler had over 1,000 yards with 5 touchdowns. You know, Boyd also had over 1,000 yards, only 2 touchdowns. But Boyd also had 24 more pancakes. You know, tight ends obviously are that hybrid role between receiver and offensive line. So,
Yeah, I think I like Boyd here just because of the pancakes numbers plus the yards, but we'll see.
we will. The winner is Z-Rex.
Ooh.
We didn't even talk about Z-Rex, but very well deserved. Most touchdowns with 8. You know, 56 pancakes, which was also the most. Yeah, solid season all around. Congratulations to you, sir. The S28 ISFL Wide Receiver of the Year nominees are Vidal San of the Austin Copperheads, Ed Barker of the New Orleans Second Line, William Lim of the Colorado Yeti, Garfield Despacito Jr. of the Orange County Otters, and Owen Holloway of the Orange County Otters.
I mean, for William Lim to have 130 receptions and only 1 drop is pretty impressive in its own right. But he also added 40 pancakes to that, 12 touchdowns, 1,800 yards. That's extremely impressive stat line for William Lim.
Yeah, I think Lim was only he unfortunately didn't get it, but he was very close to breaking the receiving yards record. I think he was only 60 yards away.
Oof.
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Yeti, so I'm kind of pulling for Lim on this one, but I really could see it going to Barker. You know, Barker wasn't far behind him. He had 2 more touchdowns. But we'll see. Let's see what the voters said. And it is William Lim of the Colorado Yeti. Congratulations to you, sir. Since I love the Odell render. All right, S28 Running Back of the Year nominees. Joseph Petrangelo of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Raftalia Chan of the Sarasota Sailfish, Darrell Williams of the Philadelphia Liberty, Tatsu Nakamura of the Arizona Outlaws, and Captain Rogers of the New York Silverbacks.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that it's probably Tatsu's to lose here. He had basically if not, we might see later tonight, but he basically had an MVP season this year, or at least an MVP contention season. So it would be hard to see anyone else winning, despite some great seasons especially from Raptalia Chan and all the others here. They just had crazy seasons, but Tatsu had pretty insane one all around.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm right. I think it's Tatsu, and I am right. Congratulations to you, sir. Q West, Tatsu Nakamura of the Arizona Outlaws. Very well deserved. You know, just as Dan said, an MVP caliber season, really.
I believe it's pronounced Quest.
Quest, is it? I say Q West. I'm sorry, Quest. Congratulations.
Questionable.
All right. The S28 Quarterback of the Year nominees for the ISFL are Matathias Caliban of the Colorado Yeti, Monty Jack of the San Jose SaberCats, Mike Boss Jr. of the Sarasota Sailfish, Colby Jack of the Yellowknife Wraiths, or Charlemagne Cortez of the Arizona Outlaws.
Yeah, well, the obvious one, looking at just the pure numbers alone, I know he threw the ball the most, but Caliban put up so many more yards than everyone else, plus 39 touchdowns on the season is pretty insane. Obviously, I think you can look at Monty Jack, the other former Bird Dog, funny enough, had probably a very efficient season looking at it, with the 100 passer rating, and the touchdowns to low interception rate compared to the others. So, but I feel like Caliban's probably taking this one home though.
Yeah, again, a little bias here, but I would be inclined to agree. Again, but not to undersell other, seasons by other quarterbacks. Colby Jack had 32 touchdowns. Monty Jack had a over 100 rating. But we'll see. Let's see what the voters said. And it'll be Matthias Caliban, the Colorado Yeti. Congratulations to user Pig Snout. Again, very well deserved. Just insane passing numbers this season.
And the nominations for Offensive Breakout Player of the Year are Captain Rogers, New York Silverbacks.
Rogers takes the handoff to the right, cuts upfield, and he's got room. To the 20, the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown New York! He outran the entire Berlin Fire Salamanders defense.
Gavin Holiday, Arizona Cowboys. James Lewandowski, San Jose Sabercats.
Monty Jack takes the snap, rolls to his left, throws downfield to his right, and he's all the way down the field. Lewandowski's outrunning the entire New Orleans second-line defense, and nobody's going to catch the tight end. He's in for the touchdown. San Jose has to score.
Spain, San Jose Sabercats.
Monty Jack throws outside. It's going to be caught by Doug Speedman, who juked his corner out, and he's going to run back all the way. Touchdown, San Jose. The quarterback never stood a chance from the rookie. Lined up at the 2-yard line, Jim the Vampire's going to get the handoff, and he's going to get in for his third touchdown of the day. The rookie successfully completes the hat trick.
And the nominations for Offensive Breakout Player of the Year are Captain Rogers, New York.
All right. Shout out to Russ Fan for making that video, I believe. I was gonna say it's always cool to hear a voiceover, on the highlights like that.
Yep,
Russ Franklin he did that last year just by himself, and it was really cool, and I'm glad that we got him more involved in the merge process.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. All right, so your ISFL S28 Offensive Breakout Player of the Year nominees are James Lewandowski of the San Jose Sabercats, Captain Rogers of the New York Silverbacks, Jim the Vampire of the Austin Copperheads, Tug Speedman of the New York Silverbacks, and Calvin Galladay of the Arizona Outlaws.
Yeah, like the promo kind of showed, Tug kind of had a huge season this year. He was traded halfway from San Jose to New York, but he had kind of good numbers consistent the whole time compared to last season where he still kind of finding his footing. Jim the Vampire is also probably a good contender for this, but that's mostly because Kyle's players sucked last year, and now he's kind of okay.
I think it's interesting with Tug looking at his stat line. He only had 4 more receptions this year, but he had 340 more yards and went from 0 touchdowns to 7 on.
That's huge.
Yeah, 4 more receptions. So, I think he's definitely a front runner for this award. I'd be curious to see if he doesn't win.
But shout out as well to Calvin Galladay and his impressive jump from S27 to S28.
Speaking of which, Calvin Galladay. Calvin Galladay will take it home.
It's crazy. That's such an increase. In Pancakes, no sacks allowed. A really good performance from him this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of squared up his technique a little bit, protected Stenny. Good job.
The nominations for Defensive Breakout Player of the Year are Dex Kennedy, Austin.
Your spot for Sarasota's Mike Boston's back, and he's going to be brought down almost immediately by Dex Kennedy. Austin's going to force the safety and go up by 4. Cortez steps back, throws outside, it's immediately intercepted. Jumped by Mac Riddle, the New York Silverback safety is down right there. New York has possession. This game ain't over yet. Caliban steps back, goes underneath. It's going to be jumped and intercepted. Dogwood Maple's got it. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, New York, and they're only down by 6. Fujiwara steps back and is sacked immediately by Gary Goodman, and he lost the football. Goodman jumps down on it, and he's got the strip sack and the fumble recovery. What a play. Capricorn takes a snap, throws underneath, and he's jumped and intercepted. Jimmy Gazzolo's got it. Nobody's catching this guy. He's going back all the way. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the numbers, I mean, they all improved mightily, obviously, but Dex Kennedy, again, we talked about it before, was, what do we say, 26 points on defense that he accounted for? That's outrageous.
Yeah, but looking at like pure breakout numbers, you got to look at both of the New York players. They went from pretty pedestrian seasons to playing like huge parts and getting huge tackles and sacks and everything. Like Matt Griddle improved by, I can't do math, but like 50 tackles on the season. Plus he got 5 more sacks, an interception, and 10 pass deflections compared to 1. Mm-hmm. And then Dogwood went from just tackling to getting not only 4 interceptions, but 2 pick sixes. So
I was going to say, 2 things I have to say, and I said that with the DSFL awards, but again, always impressive to see 2 guys from a team, you know, in this case, New York and Philadelphia on the ballot, so hats off to them. But don't sleep on my boy Jimmy DeSoto. You know, he went from, you know, just a few tackles, a few TFLs, a pick, and some PDs, you know, to 2 forced fumbles and recoveries, 5 sacks, 11 PDs, and a touchdown. You know, I think he is as much of a case as anyone else here, so we'll see what happens. And it's Dex Kennedy, your ISFL S28 Defensive Breakout Player of the Year. Yeah, again, extremely well deserved. Those 4 touchdowns are just, you know, nuts.
And the nominations for Offensive Rookie of the Year are Madison Hayes of the Chicago Butchers.
George O'Donnell takes the snap, rolls right under pressure, throws down the field. It's going to be caught by running back Madison Hayes, and he's going to go in the end zone with a beautiful block. Touchdown, Chicago. The rookie makes a gorgeous play to end the half.
Chuck the Badger of the Baltimore Hawks.
Skywalker takes the snap, rolls right under pressure, throws down the field. It's going to be a wide open Chuck the Badger. He's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, Baltimore. And they're going to put a touchdown on the board and make the score kick a little closer.
Luke Quick of the Baltimore Hawks.
Walker takes the snap, steps back, goes quickly on down the seam. Luke Quick's got it. He's living up to his name because nobody's catching this guy. The rookie's going to go all the way 52 yards, and then Baltimore's going to open up their lead.
Donald McBobby of the Arizona Outlaws.
Cortez takes the snap, rolls left, and that linebacker's going to wish he hadn't come in on that blitz. He got destroyed by Donald McBobby.
And Bush Goose of the Baltimore Hawks.
Goose has got it on the sweep left. He's going to be in the open field, run away. Nobody's going to catch him. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Baltimore. And for only the second time this year, they're going to open up a 2-score lead.
Okay.
All right.
So, first of all, shout out to Baltimore for having 3 out of the 5 nominees being from their team. Obviously, they're still rebuilding right now, but obviously they got a very strong, like, young core for the future. That's exciting for Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, these guys all immediately contributed to the offense in a big way. So, yeah, congratulations to Baltimore for having those guys.
Oh, wait, this is the one Chud's on. Chud, do you want to say anything? She says she's good. Never mind. I guess she doesn't believe she should win the award.
And shout out to Hayes as well. I mean, Hayes became a big part of the Chicago offense. I know, especially midway through the season. Really impressive season by Hayes.
Hayes was like one of the best fantasy pickups I had all season. So shout out to Madison Hayes. let's see who won. And it is Madison Hayes, your S28 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Congratulations.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Hayes was nominated for a few awards in the DSFL that were really close and just didn't go their way. This is just such a great award for them, and congratulations to Seven. It's a great user, well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say, I remember Hayes tearing it up in the DSFL. You know, solid player, solid user all around.
And the nominations for Defensive Rookie of the Year are B&B Man, Orange County.
Neg signals halfway is going to be sacked immediately by Bean Beatman. The rookie edge defender comes screaming in and sacks him for the safety. Orange County has a 7-point lead. Cortez throws it over the middle. It's going to be jumped and intercepted. Jonathan Shuffleboard's got it. The rookie safety's going to go back all the way for his first career touchdown. Skywalker steps back, goes to the right, down the middle. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off. Evan Jones got it for his first career interception. And Evan Jones is celebrating on his return to the 43-yard line. Calvin takes the snap, backs back, and is going to be sacked by Marlon Brando. Another safety by the rookie defensive end. And Berlin's up by 2. Thompson takes the snap and is going to be sacked, brought down by Kevin Morrison. Force the ball out. He's going to recover a few yards right there at the 5-yard line, setting up first and goal.
All right. So your S28 Defensive Rookie of the Year nominees are right here. They've already been announced in the video. I was about to do that. Who do we like, boys?
This one was a pretty tough category, just as someone who was a voter. It was just pretty solid defensive stats all around. A lot of guys just came up immediately and made a huge impact.
I still like Marlon Brando's stat line. You know, he has the most forced fumbles out of the group, second most sacks, and 2 safeties. I don't know. I used to be a former defensive end, so maybe I just have a soft spot for that. But
I would also point out that both Marlon Brando and Bean Beanman were nominated for their positional award as rookies, which I just think is an incredible achievement to be on both ballots.
oh, good point.
Totally.
That is.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
I was gonna say, yeah, because the Defensive Rookie of the Year obviously is all rookies, but yeah, this is solid logic there. Let's see what the voters said. And it goes to Marlon Brando, your Defensive Rookie of the Year for the S28 ISFL season. Congratulations to Blorgle or Menace, however you know him. But yeah, I think this was well deserved.
That guy is huge.
Dummy thick.
Oh my god, that's a lot of beef.
Yes, sir.
And the nominations
Someone
for
clip
Offensive
that. Oh
Performance
my
of the
god,
Year
there's a lot
are
of beef, and
Brett
please
Taylor's
send it to
Chan,
me.
Week 3.
Chan takes the handoff going left. He's going to end the half. Cutting up field. He's got a gap. He's going to get past the linebackers, and now he's on race. He's going to go to the 30, the 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown, Sarasota to end the half.
Colby Jack, Week 6.
Back roll to the left under pressure. Goes down the field. It's going to be caught. Caught by receiver in the 10, 5. Touchdown. Yellowknife Cougars increase their lead over Philadelphia.
William Love, Week 10.
Back throw quickly outside. It's going to be caught by William Lim in the end zone. Touchdown, Colorado. And they're going to open up their lead to 2 scores over San Jose. This game is over.
Tatsu Nakamura,
Nakamura takes the
Week
handoff
7.
outside, makes a beautiful jump cut upfield. He's in the open field. To the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Arizona. They strike first.
Calvin Galloway, Week 15.
Cortez steps back and oh! What a block by Calvin Galladay. That defender didn't stand a chance.
Well, yeah, Offensive Performance of the Year. What do you guys think right here? I like Raptilia Chan here. 5 touchdowns is pretty impressive, just all around. Yeah, also, I guess, shout out to Colby Jack, who passed for 400 yards and touchdowns, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, the best quarterback performance of the season. He's
Yeah, I mean, Colby Jack in that game almost had a perfect rating. You know, I think 153.8 is perfect. They're at 151.7, so not too far off. Yeah, I mean, lots of just insane performances all around. You know, Tatsu over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, another 47 through the air. Lim over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pancake. Let's see what the voters said. And it goes to Tatsu Nakamura for week 7. Yeah. Again, I think it was close between him and Raftalia, but you know, no shame here. Tatsu had a fantastic performance that week. 5 pancakes in addition too.
And the nominees for Defensive Performance of the Year are Dex Kennedy.
Boss Jr. looks to throw it underneath, and it's going to be intercepted! Jump by Dex Kennedy, and he's going to go all the way back to the end zone! Touchdown, Austin!
Ha Mango Panda.
Has it steps back, it's going to be sacked! Sack brought down by Ha Mango Panda, and he lost the football, it's in the end zone! A mad dash to pick it up, and Mango Panda's got it for 6! Steps back, throws over the middle, it's intercepted! Jump by Rich Triplett, he's got it, he's going to return for about 10 yards right back to the line of scrimmage. Arizona's got the football. Three steps back, throws outside, it's going to be intercepted! Harrison Andrews defended the deep ball beautifully, they never had a shot. Arizona's got the football at about the 42-yard line. O'Donnell steps back and it's going to be sacked! Brought down by Jack Banks, and the football's loose. Jumped out by the New York defense. New York's got the football.
All right.
So for this award, I really like Haha Mango Panda here. He just had a very all-around game with the sacks, the forced fumble, plus a touchdown. Dex Kennedy also had a pretty balanced game with a pick instead of the forced fumbles for his game, really.
Plus that safety that Kennedy added as well. I mean, both Sarasota players also got tutties in their performances, which is, impressive to have 2 guys from the same squad again being featured here and both performing at a high level.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta give shout outs to my cornerback gang friends. Harrison Andrews with the 4 PDs, 2 picks, and the tutty, and Rich Triplett. For those that don't know, 8 PDs is the single game record in the ISFL, I believe. So, awesome accomplishment by him too. Let's see what the voters decided. And it goes to Dex Kennedy for the defensive performance of S28.
He's cleaning up.
My man's having a night.
I was gonna say he's got a lot of hard work to take home. Yeah. Again, a little bit of everything in that stat line: sacks, PDs, in safeties, touchdowns. You name it. Pretty much just missing a forced fumble. Congratulations to you, sir. All right. The ISFL S28 GMs of the Year nominees are Fly Eagles Fly 29 and P Money of the Yellowknife Wraiths, Wilkers and Zane ZK of the New York Silverbacks, High Hashti and DeWalt 27 of the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Midships and Kyle of the Austin Copperheads, and Z-Wiz and Crunk of the Arizona Outlaws.
Yeah, a bunch of good managers here. I kind of feel like the odd man out because I don't think New York did anything particularly too crazy this year. But in general, when you look at Berlin and Austin, both had like really disappointing last years, and then this year they turned it all around and became some of the best teams in the league. Arizona made some huge signings in the offseason and some big moves, and they probably had the best team on paper going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, in the playoffs, anything can happen, and they did one and done. And then, of course, Yellowknife winning the Ultimates is always something that looks really good for GM of the Year, and Fly and P Money is some of the best in the business.
I think you said it all, Zane, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's see what they said. Being high Hashdy and DeWalt with the Berlin Fire
nice.
Salamanders. Yeah, that was very well deserved.
Congratulations. I mean, like you had said, the turnaround this season was something to behold.
And the nominations for Offensive Player of the Year are Mattias Caliban, Colorado.
Caliban takes the snap, goes quickly downfield to a wide open Rafael Delacour, and he's gonna go in all the way for the 46-yard touchdown. Touchdown, Colorado Yeti.
Tatsu Nakamura, Arizona.
Nakamura takes the handoff to the left, and he's gonna run down all the way. Touchdown, Tatsu Nakamura with a huge 49-yard run over the New Orleans second-line defense.
Mr. Jack, San Jose.
Jack takes the snap, rolls to his left, throws down the field. He's going to be caught by James Lewandowski, and he's going to outrun the entire New Orleans second-line defense as the tight end has a 75-yard touchdown, and San Jose's cut the lead. Caliban takes the snap, rolls to his left, throws down the field. Wide open William Lim. Nobody was within 20 yards of him, and Lim's going to scroll in for a touchdown with the second play from scrimmage. Chan takes the hand out to his right, runs down the field, he's going to outrun the entire Illinois Braves defense, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Sarasota with just the third play from scrimmage. Touchdown.
All right. What do we feeling here?
Well, like I said earlier, Tatsu and Caliban both had crazy seasons. I think it's probably going to fall to one of those two, especially because they both won their positional awards. I think whoever doesn't win here will probably win MVP. So I think Caliban will win Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion.
Any love for Raf Talia?
Frost sucks, Lamap.
He did it. He said the thing.
He said the
Yay.
thing.
Roll credit.
Let's see who wins.
Oh!
Frost doesn't suck.
Frost?
Lamap?
Question mark?
Congratulations, Frost and Raf Talia Chan, on your Offensive Player of the Year award. Yeah, I mean, just a crazy season all around. I mean, putting all 1,500 of that TPE to work, clearly.
It's not Cantaloupe Crocodile MVP, but I guess we'll take it.
Yeah, all jokes aside. Yeah. All jokes aside, Frost had a pretty crazy season, and it's kind of a shame that Tatsu just was one of the best individual seasons we've seen in a while. So it's great that he was able to take home something today, and Offensive Player of the Year is not something to laugh about. That's a top tier award.
Yep, exactly.
And the nominations for Defensive Player of the Year are Dex Kennedy, Austin.
Wrong takes the snap, goes outside, it's going to be intercepted. Jump by Dex Kennedy, he's trying to dump it up, keep running back, but Kennedy running all the way, and he's going to go back for an Austin touchdown.
Harrison Andrews, Sarasota.
Burger throws outside, it's just been intercepted. Harrison Andrews got it, and he's going to go back all the way. Touchdown, Sarasota.
Rich Triplett, Arizona.
Takes the snap, throws outside, it's jumped and intercepted. Rich Triplett's got it, and he's going to go back all the way. He jumped the crow route for a touchdown.
Direct DeVille, Sarasota.
Throws in the end zone. It's intercepted. Jump by Durant DeVille, and that's going to stop a touchdown chance for Sarasota, and they're going to hold on to the 2-score lead.
Jack Banks, New York.
Fujiwara throws it over the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Jack Banks, and he's going to go back, and he's going to be tackled just shy of a touchdown. He's down at about the 3-yard line.
The defensive player of the year. Do you think Dex Kennedy completes the treble or whatever? I don't even know how many awards he's won.
Yeah, I mean, if it keeps going with the trend, then
the
yeah,
quintuple.
probably. He's
I
going to
don't
need
know.
a U-Haul to get all of his awards out of here.
I think.
I
Go ahead.
think, sorry, I was going to say Harrison Andrews does have a very good shot at this too. He's had a pretty crazy year. I would say, I know Durant DeVille and Rich Triplett and Jack Banks all had crazy years too, but the fact that Harrison Andrews and Dex Kennedy are the only ones that won positional awards this year, I think it's probably down to those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. Oh my goodness, Dex Kennedy again.
Yeah, he's
Another
had
one.
Another one.
Yeah, he had a night.
Defensive Player of the Year, ISFL S28. Yeah, congratulations, man.
Much
Seriously.
deserved.
All right. Moving on, we have the ISFL S28 Most Dedicated Member nominees. Greg 9, Sid, Swanty, T-Muse, and Darkness Rising.
This is the first award I have a decent amount to say on, because it's also the first award I get a voting right on. Love Greg. The testing thing that he released on the forums is great, but I'm still torn on whether the amount of testing matters in the sim. Sid is great. He's awesome for taking over PPT. Love him to death. Swanty's great, and some of the stuff that he's working on the back end that should be coming out fairly soon, I think, is incredible, and the whole league's gonna love it. But he's won it before, or he's won it with the sim team.
Yeah.
Team Muse is a great guy, does a lot of great stuff for the league. A lot of graphic stuff, if I'm correct, with all of that ends. But my vote this year, full bore with the Darkness. It's been a turbulent season. It kind of feels weird to talk about because it's felt compressed in terms of the actual calendar. But Darkness is the guy who, whether it's in GM chat or on the forums, is always there to respond to you. Darkness is the guy who, 24 hours a day, we're having to tell him to go to bed in HO chat because he's always there to respond to issues. He's always coming up with unique ideas. He's also got a lot of stuff behind the scenes brewing, and he ran the entire charity event. Darkness has just been there and done this, and I've been in the league now, what is this, 8 seasons, a little bit over a year. I don't know if I've ever seen a more deserving, most dedicated member than Darkness, and I straight up might cry on stream if it doesn't go to Darkness.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I mean, these guys all do a lot for the league, but Darkness has just always been there. I mean, for me personally, he's always been there. If I have a question or, need to know how something works, even if it's charity and I don't know how to, take a screenshot, whatever, I can message him at late hours of the night and he's still up. Well, it's Australia, but still. I mean, he just does so much, and I would really like to see him get this.
Oh yeah, by no means, every single one of these people are deserving, as are basically everybody who's ever been on the most dedicated member ballot. We do a really good job as a league of making sure we get the best of the best on this, and it's a word I'm actually really passionate about because of that. But this year specifically, Darkness has just gone above it. It's mental the amount he puts into the league, and he deserves to get recognized for that.
And just to kind of clear up, T-Moose's thing is he's doing a lot of programming and stuff for the league.
That's it.
Yeah,
things that are way above my knowledge grade. I have the IQ of a second grader, so
But I second the Darkness thing. I think, do not quote me on this because I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure our charity event was probably the most well run in the sim leagues I'm in, at least. It just seemed like Darkness was on top of that, and all the stuff he did for the league this year is pretty great. I would be really surprised if he didn't take this home this year.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
Darkness. Very, very well deserved. Yeah, I mean, Dag said it all, but Darkness have just kind of been everywhere, it seems. And,
Yeah,
you know,
and I've talked for 30 seconds on this award, probably more, but like everybody nominated does a lot of great work. Greg, for those who are behind the validity of testing in this new sim, which just feels more random than the last one, I'm totally in. Team Muse, it does things that are so far above my puny intellect level that I can't even like tell you what they are, which means they're, doesn't mean they're impressive because I have the IQ of a second grader, but like a lot of great work. Swati's awesome. I'm picking his brain for everything behind the scenes, and we're kind of what he's got coming for new player creation and things like that is going to be great. Like all the guys on the ballot this year deserved it, but Darkness has been there, and there's not like a better front-facing member of the league who's there to answer everybody's questions than Darkness.
I agree 100%.
Congratulations, buddy.
And the nominations for most valuable player are
Is that it?
Harrison Andrews,
Oh, no, there's
Sarasota.
Nick steps back, goes outside. It's jumped and intercepted. Harrison Andrews got it, and he's going to go back all the way. Touchdown, Philadelphia. They open up a 3-score lead.
Tennessee Nakamura, Arizona.
Nakamura takes a handoff to the right, cuts upfield. He's got a room, and he's going to outrun the entire secondary, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Arizona. They open up a 3-score lead over New York, and an incredible Nakamura run. Fujiwara steps back and is going to be sacked. Brought down by Nick's going to be forced the football out. He swoops it up and he's going to run uncontested into the end zone. Touchdown, Austin. Raptalia chance takes the handoff to the left. He's going to cut up the field. He's going to outrun the entire New Orleans second line defense. And he's going to go all the way for a touchdown. Sarasota's up 20-0.
Matthias Caliban, Colorado.
Last play of the game right here. Caliban takes a snap, steps back, throws down the middle. It's going to be a wide open Leroy Jenkins. He's going to go all the way. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown, Colorado. And with no time left on the clock, Colorado takes the lead.
So MVP, the big one.
Yep, the big one. Here it is, folks. What are we thinking?
I think
Well, we know it's not Frost.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think just due to the sheer fact that Raptalia Chan won Offensive Player of the Year, I think it's pretty cut and dry that it's probably Tatsu Nakamura here. And if it's not, I would love to see QS reaction right now if he somehow doesn't win this.
I think it's awesome that we do have 2 defensive players on the ballot. Again, Dex Kennedy, who's been, cleaning up tonight, and Harrison Andrews. Shout out to ABH. Maybe again, if one of them won it, that might be quite the upset. You had Caliban there with 5,500 plus yards. Again, I do think it'll go to one of the offensive guys, but we will see. Here we go. And it is Tatsu Nakamura, your ISFL S28 MVP. Very, very well deserved.
100%.
All right. I think that does it. I want to give a shout out to Mojo for hosting and streaming. Thank you for clicking the buttons and making this as smooth as possible. Shout out to all the graphic makers, the award slide makers. Like I said before, this wouldn't be possible without you guys. Shout out to my co-hosts here, Crodyman, Steg, Zane.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank
Shout
you
out
all
to
for
you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed your awards. We hope as many of you as possible were able to take home some hardware. Thank you to Infinite MPG for all of the back-end support to get this stream set up. And again, shout out to Noanic for the DSFL renders, Moosey for the ISFL renders, and Russfan for the great hype videos that we got to see this year for the first time.
Yes.
So
That was awesome.
Great job, everyone, and thank you to the events team. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody.